So where do you think James Gunn and the new DCU is going to take Lex Luthor? Are they setting him up to be the Thanos for this new universe? Are we getting a Lex-led Legion of Doom? Or something bigger? Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what Peter Safran had to say about the character, and why I think he might be front and center in the new DCU a lot. Well, we are on the final countdown to the new Superman movie, and we are getting all kinds of really interesting and great feedback. The movie's clearly got a lot of hype behind it, and should it deliver, it should be the year's biggest film. Now, one of the things that has me excited about this movie is Nicholas Hoult taking up the role of Lex Luthor. The character is so iconic in the comics and brings so much more as a villain than many of the other characters in the DC roster. Yeah, he's a normal human, and that's what makes him so exceptional. And with all these really high expectations for Nicholas Hoult's Lex Luthor, even beyond Superman, I really do not expect him to be a one-and-done villain. And this seems to have been confirmed by one of DC Studios' co-heads. Now recently, Peter Safran sat down with Omelette and talked a lot of Superman, Lex Luthor, and the new movie. And what he had to say about Lex is pretty interesting. Now, it was a short statement, but he simply said, Lex Luthor is a very important character for us in the DCU, not just in the Superman movie. Now, this might have been a bit of a slip, because Safran, when pressed on further details, totally clammed up, which leads me to believe he actually cracked the window a little bit on what's going on behind the scenes. Now, this completely suggests to me that whatever they're planning for Lex Luthor, it's not just this film. And obviously, within a greater DC universe, Lex is a persistent threat. Now, where this could go, we're going to have to wait and see. But honestly, I could see him as a reoccurring villain against Superman, that's for sure. And I seriously doubt he goes down at the end of this movie. More interestingly, though, is his connections to the greater DC universe. He has interconnected relationships with a lot of villains and has shown up in a lot of other heroes' comics and stories, and probably not in a bigger way than the Legion of Doom. Now, James Gunn said early on that these movies and his new DC universe is taking great influence from the animated series, particularly that Superman series in the 90s and the follow-up Justice League. One of the best parts of that storyline was Lex Luthor leading a new Legion of Doom. And I really do think with James Gunn's understanding of the characters, the universe, and the history, this is exactly where he's going. Now, as for Nicholas Hoult, well, Safran did praise his performance quite a bit in the same interview, stating he brings a lot of seriousness to the character, especially compared to previous versions. But he compared him to Gene Hackman, and not the Jesse Eisenberg version, which was probably pretty smart to not poke the bear. Now, Safran said, and I quote, "Listen, I love Gene Hackman, but that was a very over-the-top performance. Nick Hoult made Lex Luthor his character. It's an iconic performance, and it's great. It's realistic, it's smart, and it's articulate." Which honestly, guys, sounds exactly how Lex Luthor should be portrayed. He's not a goofball. He's not a guy that stuffs Jolly Ranchers in people's mouths. He is, well, smarter than everybody else in the room. He knows it, and he's always playing for an endgame. Luthor's been around since 1940 when he made his first appearance in Action Comics number 23. And like I said, he founded and led a lot of groups of supervillains, especially the Legion of Doom, but also the Injustice Gang, which would be interesting considering what Guy Gardner wants to name the Justice League, and the Secret Society of Supervillains. If Hoult is able to bring alive Lex's ability to typically outsmart, destabilize, or more interestingly, undermine the morals of Superman, which allows him to deliver psychological blows to the hero, well, that is a great take on the character and exactly how I want to see him come to life. Now, it's not to say I don't want to see his battle armor. It's not to say I don't want to see him create other supervillains. He's already created Metallo in the book, and I'm pretty sure he made Ultraman. So whatever Lex is manifesting in this movie hopefully carries forward and creates a long path for us fans to walk. How that works out, we're going to have to wait and see. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.